Welcome back, another Paul Master video, and today we're going to talk about Giovanni, Sygna Suit Giovanni in fact, and a Nidoking who's dropping tonight, which as usual I will be summoning, so make sure all are subscribed so we get that live. Should be very nice, very fun. So far, you know, recently we've been having some pretty solid luck, so hopefully it continues. But yeah, as for Nidoking, right, so here's the thing with Nidoking. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best units they've come out with in a while. I'm not saying best in terms of he's the strongest or whatever. I don't think he's the strongest at all. That the strongest would obviously be Sygna Suit Sygna. But I think he's one of the better like units that people wanted, right? In terms of he's the best unit that people asked for, right? People were asking for. We need more ground type damage dealers. We need more poison type damage dealers. We need more steel type. No one asked for that. Okay, maybe there are a few people asked for steel type damages, but you know, it just fulfills a lot of needs that people have, right, at the moment in the game, and I think that's really nice and encouraging to see, right? I mean, they've been doing this all month, right? They've given us Nidoking that fills all those niches that folks were asking for. They gave us 3 spotlights, which all 3 are fantastic spotlights, by the way, right? That are going to be in the permanent full moving forward, right? So a very nice month, I feel like, in terms of the units that they've been dropping that a lot of the community has been asking for, right? So anyways, let's get into this unit. Like I mentioned before, very nice unit for the reasons that I am about to mention. So first of all, if you look at its base stats, the speed's not the best. It's not like terrible either. 295 is not like bad, it's just not fast, right? 375 attack is fine. That's really nice attack. Defenses kind of suck. HP's okay, right? I mean, you're not here for a tank. It's God's damage dealer, right? If you look at the moves, first of all, Mega Kick. Mega Kick's one of the top, you know, moves in the game, right? At least top 3 gauge moves. Well, not even top 3. It's one of the best, the strongest moves in the game, because of the fact that it has very low accuracy. The way the game determines how powerful a move is mostly determined on how many detriments that it has, right? The more liabilities that a move has, right, usually the higher the power. The more you know, additional effects, positive effects that a move has, usually they lower the power, right? And Mega Kick has 2 things going for it. Well, 3 things, I guess. 1, lower accuracy. Accuracy sucks, right? So they're gonna, you know, bring up the power to compensate. And then on the other hand, it's normal type, right? So normal type, obviously being not super effective against anything, they also boost the base power to compensate for that. So look at this. Turns out it's a 300 base power Mega Kick. And if you remember those 2 detriments, right, it doesn't matter for Giovanni, because Giovanni has, where is it? Giovanni's Cutting, which turns normal moves into ground types, and the moves never miss. So this is just fantastic. 300 base power is the power of a sync move. That's the power of a sync move. That's the power of straight up sync move base power for a regular move, right? Because it also, oh, the third detriment is that it's a 3 gauge, although it's not much. That's just that how they scale BPs, right? But yeah, this one does have 4 gauge because of the fact that you have hit the gas 5, right? Gives extra 50%, you know, bonus damage to a move, and then gives you an extra. It does cost an extra gauge. So this guy, as a ground type damage dealer, right? In terms of single target ground type damage, right? Obviously, you know, once you take out the sides, your Groudon's Precipice Blades turn into single target, which is okay, better, because sometimes it has a super effective up next, and obviously that's a huge juice for Groudon's, you know, power boost, right? But you know, outside of that, right, if we're just talking always single target damage, which in my opinion is generally the more superior way of dealing damage, right? Unless you could have like SS Luzamine's passive or whatever, right? But outside of that, right, this is the strongest single target ground type you know, damaging move in the game, which makes it very effective in Champion Stadium, right? So this obviously Mega Kick's very powerful. It's a very powerful ground type damage dealing move, right? Iron Tail. If you're thinking, okay, Iron Tail, Steel type, who cares? We have a bunch of Steel types in the game. Okay, true, but are any of them the best Steel type damage dealing in the game? Didn't think he'd have that, right? Giovanni is the strongest Steel type damage dealer in the game when we're accounting for like regular moves, right? Not like Grimsley's 2-turn Metal Burst that requires the opponents to hit you from like max HP to like 1 HP, and you could really only use it once, because if they hit you again, like you die, right? But which is not to discredit, you know, Grimsley's Metal Burst is very, very powerful. But if you look at Iron Tail, not only is it the strongest Steel type damage dealing move in the game, right, with Steel Zone, it is also the second strongest damage dealing move in the entire game. Again, regular moves, right? It's the second strongest regular damage dealing move in the game, behind SS Serena's Core Enforcer. Like, number 1, SS Serena, Core Enforcer. Number 2, Giovanni Nidoking, Iron Tail, for some reason. Right? And it's just, you know, just for some random reason. The reason is obvious. Iron Tail with a very, very high base power, because also a, you know, low accuracy move, right? Being buffed to 4 gauges, right? With Hit the Gas, with all these, you know, extra little multipliers, right? This, that. Although I'm not sure if you really want that or whatever, right? And Steel Zone makes it that much powerful. And here's the funny thing about Mega Kick. If you think Mega Kick is powerful right now, and Mega Kick, by the way, as powerful as Mega Kick is not more powerful than Iron Tail, because of the fact that Iron Tail has Zone, Mega Kick doesn't. If they ever, for some reason in the future, think, oh, you know what would be a good idea, what would be healthy, what would be very balanced for this game of meta, we're going to drop Ground Zone. If they ever drop Ground Zone, this is it's going to be an incredibly funny move once that happens. All right, so Meg Kick, a sync move level, you know, regular move, right? Iron Tail, literally the second strongest hitting, you know, regular move in the game, like regular move. And then Poison Jab is it's just all right. It's not anything super crazy. Obviously, it is the strongest, you know, poison type damage dealing move that we have in the game, right? Which is something. Also, not a very high bar, because all the other poison type damage dealers like are bad. What, Plumeria, Koga, like Alistair, no, these guys are all not very good. But that being said, Poison Jab is still the, you know, best one in the game, and that's something, right? I'm not saying I'm not saying this is like the poison. This is not the poison version of Hyperspace Hole, right? No, it's not that. It's not that. Its damage is more in line with something like I want to say Electric Terrain boosted Elisa Wild Charge, which is not bad. But it's also not anything crazy, right? But it's still definitely the most reliable poison type damage dealing move in the game, right? And it's very, 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 very nice. And then World of Pain, because of the fact that we don't have too many poison damages. World of Pain raises attack by 6. Critical hit next to the user, right? Super duper effective up next to the user. Oh my goodness. So first of all, +6 attack, you know, straight up. Crit next is nice if you're going for like the sync and guaranteed crit, or if you pick up critical crit 9 in the grid, which every time you land a crit, you get another critical. Like, you basically have infinite crit over here, right? Which you would also kind of almost get that with like +3 crit anyways, but whatever, right? I mean, it depends on what kind of team you want to run, right? You might pick this up, you might not, right? Depends, right? And then obviously super effective up next, right? And that is very, very, very good because of the fact that if you're looking at some of these types, again, ground type, poison type, right? These are the less common types, right? If we're looking at typings, how many damage deals are in each typing, poison and ground type are kind of at the bottom there, right? So the super effective up next really, really helps because you're mostly going to be using him off type, right? Not off type, on type, which obviously super effective up next is very, very nice there. Your sync move is just a regular sync move that also has a lower base power than your regular Mega Kick. Well, actually, that's not lower, it's the same. Although there are extra multipliers to your sync move over here, like a double down 3, like a, you know, haymaker over here, right? I think you also have, where is it? I don't know, you have something else. Oh, Super Sinker, sort of. Ah, no, that's not the, never mind, you don't have anything else. Which, I mean, Haymaker, double down 3, still good. All right. So, for some reason, I thought he also had a double down 5. Anyways, but yeah, that's your sync move. Very, very powerful sync nuke as well, right? I mean, if we want to look at the numbers, again, ignoring the once a battle metal burst, which again, credit to Grimsley, very, 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 very powerful move, right? Steel type damage, by far the best, right? In fact, it's not even just the best steel type damage. Again, it's the second strongest normal regular move in the game, right? That Iron Tail. And if you look at what his poison type damage over here, right? Also the best. Again, very low bar, but the best nonetheless, right? And then you also have a ground type, which Maxi is better, right? But Maxi is also AoE, and yours and Giovanni is, because AoE split damage, all that stuff, but Giovanni also has super effective up. Like, okay, Giovanni is broken, okay? But, not Giovanni, Maxi is broken. I mean, they're both broken, let's be real. Maxi's broken, but Giovanni obviously still very, 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 very powerful here, right? Very, very funny unit. And if you look at the sync move, he also does have a pretty nice sync move over here as well. So that's really for a striker, right? I mean, it's not anything like crazy, but it's pretty nice, right? So if you thought that was all, you're mistaken. He has more. Boom, Dynamax. Every single one of his damage dealing moves also has a max move variant, right? So yeah, you have the very, very powerful Mega Kicks. You also have a 80 base power Max Quake that has an extra 100, power up over here, right? And you also have a Max Double Down 5, which gives you an extra 50% more damage on those max moves if they're super effective, right? You have Max Steel Spike. You have Max Ooze, right? If you think, come on, the poison jab damage isn't that great, which I agree to an extent, right? I mean, still the strongest poison damage dealing, but it's not anything crazy, but boom, you get a Max Ooze in there. How about that, right? Which, all of these, you could either buff your team's special defense by 2, your entire team's defense by 2, or your entire team's special attack by 2 as well. Not that any of these really help him personally, but, teamwork, right? Anyways, this guy is very, 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 he's fun. He's very, very, very fun. Anyways, looking at this guy's grid, right, in terms of, all right, how many, if you're trying to pull for him, how many copies do you want? All right, so at 1 out of 5, his kit is pretty complete for the most part in terms of just straight up damage healing, which is nice, right? You just have like a lot more multipliers in his grid, right, that you kind of want to pick up. At 1 out of 5, you really don't get anything, right? It's just move gauge refreshes for Iron Tail and Poison Jab that are nice. A few power-ups here and there. Everything else is kind of whatever, honestly, right? Headstrong, sure, I guess. And then at like 2 out of 5, you get a few things. You get a few really, really nice things, honestly, at 2 out of 5. You get super duper effective 3 for Poison Jab if you really, really want him for poison type damage, right? Super duper effective 2, which is on all of these moves, right? So that's straight up an extra 20% as long as you're super effective, right? Surge Sand 2, extra 20% damage in Sandstorm if you want to run that. Max Super Preparation, I don't care that much for, but I mean, it's nice, especially like if you're doing poison, right? So then you have a poison jab, you have a max move poison move, and then your next poison jab is like another, super effective up boosted poison jab. Well, you have 2 super effective ups then, right? Which is very, very nice, I feel. Double down 3, right? That's your sync nuke multiplier. And then, yeah, just 2 out of 5 is honestly really, really good. And then 3 out of 5, you get the big stuff, right? Haymaker for sync nuke. You got the Max Quake power up 100, Max Steel Spike power up 100, Max Ooze power up 100, Furious Brawn on Poison Jab, which is very, very good. Easy extra 30%, like straight up free, right? Because you buff +6 attack yourself straight up with your training move in 1 move, right? As long as your opponent doesn't debuff your attack, you're just free 30% to your Poison Jab. Super Sinkers, I kind of find whatever, but I mean, if you really want it, sure, right? And a critical crit if you really don't want to run a crit buffer on your team, then you could do that, I guess. Right? And then you got sync with power-ups, obviously. So this guy is just every single version. 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, I think are all really, really nice, right? Obviously, 3 out of 5 has most stuff, but even 2 out of 5 is a pretty good upgrade, right? So if you are trying to pull for him, I'd say 1, 2, 3, all are good, right? Just depends on, well, A, your luck, B, how much money you have, and 3, how many candies you have, right? So it's really up to yourself. You really want to go for it, and obviously your own situation in the box, right? How much trouble do you have against poison weak stages? Again, do keep in mind, poison weak stages, yeah, they don't have that great DPSs, but you could always still toxic stall them relatively easily, so do keep that in mind, I guess, if you really want to. So yeah, great unit. I think he's a pretty good unit. Anyways, that being said, in terms of, well, how much is this a in terms of my personal pull rating, here's what I would say. If you have trouble against ground weak stages, and to an extent poison weak stages, right? If you don't have that many great ground damage dealers, poison damage dealers, this guy is a borderline must pull. I say borderline because there really aren't any like must pull units in the game. Like, if you really want to ask me, like, what was the last must pull unit in this game? I don't think I could really tell you, because I don't really think there really is a quintessential must pull unit, right? But if there was one, Giovanni would be pretty close to whatever that is. Again, it's not because he's wow, the strongest damage dealer in the game. He's not the strongest damage, although there's an argument for him being the second strongest damage dealer in the game. But still, right? That aside, he just fits a lot of, missing pieces that folks don't have. So if you are missing out on those, if you didn't get Maxi, right? If your strongest damage dealer, ground type damage dealer is like Cynthia or whatever. Not that Cynthia's terrible or whatever, she's still serviceable, right? But in those situations, or if you really just have a tough time or you just don't want to bother spending all that time toxic stalling, right? This is your guy. DNA made this unit specifically for people who have trouble with ground weak stages and poison weak stages, and also steel weak stages, I guess. Which is, again, understated, but that's his strongest move. Iron Tail is the strongest. And it is by far, one of the strongest moves in the game, period, right? But yeah, I'd say he's a borderline must pull, right? If you're a whale, I can see if you don't pull for this unit, because, like, if you are a whale, you spend money, okay, maybe you already have Giovanni, maybe you already have SS Serena, you don't have any issues with ground type, maybe you, all the whales really don't have too much of an answer for poison weak stages outside of obviously just toxic stalling it. I mean, I'm not saying Alistair or Plumeria can't be a poison weak stage. They can beat it. It's just not the easiest. If you're looking at all the types and beating a stage, poison definitely, straight up DPS wise, poison definitely has the hardest time accomplishing that, right? So I don't think it's that much of a priority for whales, right? If you really don't have an issue clearing any of those, weaknesses, I'd say go for Sygna Suit Morty, right? Because obviously, Sygna Suit Morty is very, very good all around support, or just wait, see what happens next month, right? Because, also, even if you are free to play, it would be a decent idea to wait and see what happens next month first, right? Because, again, Joe Dark Part 2 most likely next month, and we'll see what units are in there. If they drop a Master Fair on us, that would be kind of nuts, right? Depending on the unit, I mean, not all Master Fairs are, so far all Master Fairs are bonkers, right? But there's a chance, it's not guaranteed that Master Fair is going to be fantastic, right? I mean, there's plenty of Poke Fairs that are better than Master Fairs in this game, right? And it could be the case that Giovanni could potentially be better than whatever Master Fair that comes out next month. But there's also a chance that that Master Fair is going to be better than this Giovanni, right? So we'll have to see. Totally possible that next month's whatever, or there might not even be a Master Fair next month, but whatever unit in that next month could be better than Giovanni. Again, hard to imagine sometimes, but it could happen. It could definitely happen. So I would say caution is always the best, right? That being said, I'd give this like a 8.9 9 out of 10, honestly, in terms of pull rate. He's just, again, overall a good damage dealer, right? Even if you don't look at the weaknesses, whatever, right? Iron Tail is the second strongest, you know, damage. I mean, the strongest single target damage, regular, normal move in the game, right? Has max moves for 3 different types. You know, each of those max moves hit in the millions, right? Straight up. And then you have really, really good, you know, again, poison jab DPS is not like crazy, but like at least very, very good ground type DPS and a definitely serviceable poison type DPS, right? He's just a wow. He's a very economically friendly unit that is also objectively very powerful as well, right? So anyways, that's me on this one, I guess. Hope you all enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down. Wow, when was the last time I talked 20 minutes about a unit on a Shinji Summon video? As you can tell, I am very, very excited about this unit. I think he's gonna be great. Well, it's not even an I think issue. He's gonna be great, right? Can't wait to pull him. Gonna be a good time again. Come join the stream later tonight. But if you do miss it, don't worry. I do still, right? I added out some highlights for you who missed the stream, because the stream is pretty late. Like the reset's like 11 p.m. my time, like almost midnight. So anyways, have fun, folks. Good luck if you guys are pulling later tonight, and I'll see you guys later tonight then.